Hi everybody, it's Here with the Birds, back with another Shadowlands video. In this video I'd like to cover the best in slot pre-raid gear that you can acquire specifically through dungeons. Now obviously I want to stress that eye level is going to be usually a far more significant contribution to your throughput and to your effectiveness as a healer for Castle Nathria. One of the nice things about a change that Blizzard has made recently to heroic dungeons is they've made them spammable so you don't get locked out, meaning that you can queue up and target specific ones for the next little while until we jump into Castle Nathria and get some of the gear there. So I wanted to put together a list of the items that I would be targeting in Mythic, and this should carry over also to Mythic Plus. Some of these items have really great budgets on their secondary stats, and once Mythic Plus gets rolling, you'll be able to find a really nice version of this in your weekly cache. So you can keep this in your back pocket and just remember to look for some of these items. Just remember, eye level is generally king, but we want to look for as much haste as we possibly can. This goes for both the melee glimmer build as well as any of the caster builds. You really want to bring down the casting time of your holy light to pair it up if you're using inflorescence with inflorescence, and you really want to be able to burst out as many holy shocks as you can. So haste is king. Alright, let's begin with the headpiece and work our way down. We want to just grab ourselves a Wrathbark Great Helm if you can. I have Dark Frost Helmet as another potential. Look for the best haste budget you possibly can. Don't worry too much about the other secondary stat that goes with it. Next up, we have a neck. Necks are interesting because they don't have a secondary on it, so these are things that can be traded between lots of different classes, whether you're agility, intellect, or strength. And we're looking for the highest budget. I think this is one of probably the best items we can look for in Mythic Plus, the Sin Stain Pendant, because of that really large budget. At eye level 171, it has 90 haste on it, which is excellent. Next we have shoulders. We're looking at Unyielding Combatant's Pauldron for the best haste stat there, 45 at, and let me just see what I have here. At 171, we're looking at 48 haste. Cloak, if you're not going to build your inflorescence on your back piece, which I have done here, partly due to some of the drops I had, you can look for the Drape of Twisted Loyalties. It has a good haste budget that should carry you through. Also, if you're looking for crit, which I'm looking for a bit more crit on the caster build, this is a nice drape because it provides a little bit of crit as well. Chest piece, Breastplate of Otherworldly Influence is what you want. Also, Breastplate of Fatal Contrivances is pretty decent, though there's a bit more crit on that than haste, so prefer Otherworldly Influence if you can. But anything with haste will do. For wrists, we want Vambraces Braces of the Depraved Warden. This is, again, your highest haste budget item at about 34 haste at 171 eye level. For hands, Distorted Constructs Gauntlets, really, really good. Belt, we're going to want to pick up Girdle of the Soul Flare. For our legs, this is another high budget item. Galvanized Oxane Leg Guards. Gormshell Greaves also works, but it has a little bit less haste on it and a bit more mastery, so it's a bit of a flip of the other one. For your feet, you want to try to grab Muckwallow Stompers if you can. 47 haste. Good crit if you're looking for crit rather than versatility. And then for our rings, there's a few options. 4 kind of decent rings that you probably want to look for. Death God Signet obviously has the highest haste stat, and this is something you should probably look for in your Mythic Plus cache, followed by Stitch Flesher's Misplaced Signet, but also Blood Oath Signet and Deranged Surgeon's Band are fairly decent budgets of haste, but these two, especially Death God Signet and Stitch Flesher's, are going to be excellent. One of the things that rings share with amulets is they do not have primary stats, so you don't have to worry quite so much about the eye level of your rings relative to the rest of your gear, since you're getting no intellect from them. You can wear a slightly lower eye level ring that has the right secondary stats. And Death God's Signet, I think, is a good example of that. Do I have mine? I don't have. I have the Blood Oath Signet. I think this is the same. Nope, this is a slightly different thing. So if you can, also try to get your rings with sockets. Just keep them there. Stitchflesh Misplaced Signet, again, just tons and tons of haste. So I'm not quite bis on this, but we're getting pretty close. Alongside rings, trinkets are also something that, generally speaking, there's lots of variation on. There's also PvP trinkets that we can grab that give haste procs on hit. I would recommend grabbing a Darkmoon deck Repose. Lots of good healing coming out of that on use. Allows you to trade trinkets in normal Nathria because it hits the 200 ilevel mark. And the flat Intellect is just a good stat for us. I'm also recommending Sunblood Amethyst if you really are deficient in haste. And I'm going to be using this going forward just because I really want a lot of haste for casting Holy Lights. Unbound Changeling is also a fairly reasonable haste proc that you can get. So there's some options there. But I wouldn't worry too much. There's lots of other good trinkets that are a little more healing focused or throughput focused that don't involve haste at all. So if you have those, that's fine, but this is just sort of dungeon stuff that you can pick up. Finally, for our weapon and shield, we want to grab Amarth's Spellblade, which has small haste budget, but it's better than nothing. And also, oh, excuse me, I've put the wrong thing in for our shield. I'll just show you here. Barricade of the Endless Empire is what we're looking for our shield, which also has a pretty significant haste budget. Again, you don't have to get yourself to 25% haste. If you're sitting at 10 or 12, you're probably going to be fine for healing in Castle Nathria. But if you're looking for something to do to get yourself ready, and you've made it through all your mythics and kind of had somewhat poor luck like I have, just jump into those heroics and find some of these nicely statted pieces. Also, there's always a chance that the item drops with Leech on it. So if you get Leech, that's excellent. You can spam it out. Yeah, these things you can queue as a healer. You get a really short queue time. So go ahead and grab that stuff and you'll be ready to rock and roll. At this 25% haste, you get about a 2-second Holy Light. It's about 1.9, but the tooltip's a little bit off. And this is just way, way faster than your baseline 2.5 seconds. So if you're looking for the caster version, go for that, but also Melee Glimmer is going to benefit quite a lot because you get the CDR on both your Holy Shock and your Crusader's Strike. So that kind of double dips a little bit on your reduction of that ability. Anyways, just thought I'd let you guys know. I think this list is the sort of thing that will carry forward into Mythic Plus, so be on the lookout in your caches for these items if you're looking for good upgrades for Holy Paladin. Thanks for watching, guys, and we'll see you again next time.